Hello and welcome to Mima's Crafts. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this bucket bag here. I previously did a tutorial on how to crochet a simple bucket bag, but it had a circular buzz. But this one, it has got a square buzz. Okay, that's the difference. And also the pattern is almost the same, but this time we'll be using just single crochet and just slip stitch. Okay, so you're going to need a crochet hook size 6 millimeters. You're going to need a scissors. You're going to need stitch markers. I used macrame or rope. It's about 3 millimeters thick. You can even use t-shirt yarn or any other kind of yarn that you have. The whole idea is if you're using a different size of yarn or crochet hook, you just play around with the best. Okay, the bigger the best, the bigger the bag. The smaller the best, the smaller the bag. Okay, so let's begin. So we're going to begin with the base. It's a square base for our bag. Okay, so we're going to begin with the magic circle. Okay, like this. Then insert your hook, grab your yarn. Okay, this is our slip knot here. So I'm going to crochet 8 single crochets into this ring. Just make sure that they are not too tight. Okay, so with single crochet, insert your hook, grab your yarn and pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Okay, that's number 1. Again, insert my hook, grab my yarn over and pull through both loops. That's number 2. Okay, so I'm going to do 8 of this. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, and that's 7. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So I'm going to do the last one, and that's number 8. Okay, so those are 8 single crochets that we have there. So I'm going to pull this tail end here to close the gap here, and just adjust as you pull. Okay, you can continue and then later on pull this, it's still fine. Okay, so now we want to join. We join this last stitch with the first stitch with a slip stitch. Okay, and please take note that this slip stitch does not count as a stitch, so we won't be crocheting into this stitch. Okay, so this is the slip stitch that I'm talking about. We are not going to be crocheting into this stitch. I'll show you later on. So now beginning our next round, I'm going to chain 1. Okay, now I'm going to put my first stitch in this stitch here, this one. Okay, with the chain 1. Okay, so this is my first stitch, this one. Okay, this is my chain, this is my slip stitch. Okay, and this is my first stitch of the round. Okay, then from there into the next stitch, I'm going to put 3 single crochets. That's 1, and that's 2, and then in the second one I put my stitch marker. This is going to be a corner here. Okay, this is my first corner, and then I put another single crochet in that stitch. That's 3. Okay, I move again to the next stitch. I put 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then in the following again I'm going to put 3 single crochets. That's 1, that's 2, and again in the second one I'm going to put a stitch marker like that, and then I put the last one to make them 3. Okay, that's 3. As you can see, the corners are coming out, and then in the next stitch I'm going to put 1 single crochet like that. In the following I'm going to put 3 single crochets. That's 1, that's 2. I put my stitch marker in the second stitch, Then I put my last single crochet. Okay, so now we have 3 corners. We're now left with 1 corner. In this one I put 1 single crochet, and then in this one I'm going to put 3 single crochets. That's 2. Again I put my stitch marker there, and then the last one. Okay, so if you're to count your stitches, you can notice that in between the stitch markers we have 3, 3, 3, 3, and here we have 1, 2, 3. So this slip stitch is not a stitch, and we don't crochet in that one. Okay, so we're going to join this last one to the first one. Okay, please take note that this is the slip stitch, it doesn't count, and this is the chain 1 that we did when we began this round, so we don't crochet into these 2. Okay, so I'm going to join with the slip stitch into the first one, this one, and this is my slip stitch. Okay, so this is my round and it's done. Okay, so now moving on to the next round, I chain 1 again. Okay, and then in this stitch that I did the chain of 1, I'm going to put 1 single crochet. Okay, so this is my first stitch here, this one, and then in the next I'm going to put 1 single crochet again, and then the stitch with the stitch marker I'm going to put 3 single crochets. Okay, so all these stitches I'm going to put 3 single crochets in the stitches with the stitch markers, and I'll be replacing the stitch marker into the second stitch in that stitch. Okay, okay, so in this one I'm going to put 3 single crochet. That's 1, and that's 2. Okay, I put back my stitch marker there, and that's 3. Okay, I move on. This is one stitch into this one, into the following. Again I put 1 single crochet, in this one again I put 1 single crochet. Okay, now I'm at the stitch marker, I remove it again. I'm going to put 3 single crochets and put back my stitch marker in the second, this one. Okay, and then put the last one, the last stitch. Okay, I move forward 1 single crochet into the next, 1 single crochet again into the following, 1 single crochet again into that one. Okay, again I'm now at the stitch marker, I remove my stitch marker. I'm going to put 3 single crochets in this stitch. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3, and I put back my stitch marker. This is 1, 2, 3, this one, the middle one. Okay, I continue again, 1 single crochet in that, 1 single crochet in that, 1 single crochet into that one. Okay, now I'm at the stitch marker, I remove it again, and then I put 3 single crochets. This one, 1, 2, again, and that's 3. I put back my stitch marker, 1, 2, 3, so I put it in the middle. Okay, so now I'm left with this stitch only. This is a slip stitch and this is chain 1, so they don't count. So I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in that, and then this is my first stitch. I set my hook there, and join with the slip stitch like that. So for you to have a perfect square, you have to make sure that the stitches in between the stitch markers are the same. Okay, so now let's move on to the next. I chain one, okay, and in that same stitch I put one single crochet, okay, in the following one single crochet again, okay, in the next one single crochet, and in this one I remove the stitch marker and repeat what we did previously. Put 3 single crochets in this one. 1, 2, and 3, and then I put back my stitch mark 1, 2, 3. So I put in this one, the second one. Okay, so as you can see, the square is coming out. So you're going to repeat the sequence. Okay, the stitches in between here, you put 1 single crochet in each, and then at the stitch marker you put 3 single crochets, okay, and then put back the stitch marker in the middle stitch. You repeat 1 single crochet, 3 stitches, 1 single crochet, and then 3 single crochets in there. Here just make sure that you don't crochet into this one. This is a slip stitch and this is chain 1. You join the last to the first one, this one. So we're going to continue up until we have 10 rounds. Okay, so right now we have 1, 2, I was doing my third, so I'm going to continue up until we have 10 and then come back. Welcome back. So now I have 10 rounds, and if you just to confirm your stitches at each side, you're supposed to have 21, 21, 21, 21, and plus 4 stitches which have the stitch markers. You should have a total of 88 stitches. Okay, so here I've just joined with the slip stitch just like what we were doing, but right now we're no longer going to be increasing our length for the square. This is the best that we want. Okay, so I'm just going to remove the stitch markers. Now we want to increase the height of our bag, and we just do that by just crocheting single crochet throughout. But before we do that, in this slip stitch here, I'm going to put a stitch marker. Okay, this is going to mark my starting point. Okay, and then we're going to do slip stitch right round until we're back here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do with slip stitch right round. So this is the first stitch that I just did, the joining slip stitch, so I'm no longer going to do a slip stitch into this one. So I move into the next. Okay, grab my yarn, pull through, and then pull through again. So that's how we do slip stitch. Okay, into the next, grab my yarn, pull through, and then pull through again into the following. Okay, so I'm just going to do the slip stitch right round up until I'm back at the starting point. Okay, so just continue with slip stitch right round, and let's meet back here. Welcome back. So I finished with slip stitch right round. This is the slip stitch that I was doing. Okay, so you should notice that at the edge here we have more like 3 loops here. You have this outer one, this one, and this one. Okay, so what we're going to do next is, this is now my starting point. Okay, and this is the last slip stitch that I did. So I'm going to chain 1. Okay, and then I'm going to remove the stitch marker. Okay, so here you should have like 3 loops. You've got this one, you've got this one, and you've got this one here, and you have the outer one. Okay, that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so our first round going up, we're going to be crocheting in the outer loop, this one. Okay, this is the side that I'm facing. This is going to be the inside. Okay, so I insert my hook at the outer loop and do single crochet. and this is my first stitch. I'm going to put a stitch marker here. Okay, so again in this one, this outer loop here, single crochet. Okay, you have this one, you have this one, and then there's this one, so we're going to put into the last one and just do single crochet. Okay, and we're going to do this right round, and this will mark the first round going up. Okay, as you can see, this is the round that I'm doing right now, and you're left with these two loops here. So I'm just going to continue right round up until I'm here at the last stitch. Okay, so I'm now almost at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to continue. Okay, so the last one, we're going to put it into this one. Okay, so that our stitches become 88. Okay, so now moving on to the next round, I'm just going to remove, you're no longer going to join the slip stitch. I removed my stitch marker and then set my hook and continue with single crochet, and this is my first stitch. I put back my stitch marker into the first stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to continue with single crochet, inserting my hook below the two loops. Okay, like that. Okay, I'm just going to continue with the single crochet, and I'm going to come back to show you how we're going to carry on. Okay, so now I'm left with 2 stitches, and this is my first stitch, so I'm just going to continue. Okay, this is the last stitch. Okay, so we're just going to continue. You just remove your stitch marker in the first stitch. Okay, then just continue with single crochet into the first stitch, and don't forget to put back the stitch marker, okay, because it shows us our starting point. Okay, and just continue with single crochet into every other stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to continue with this one and do, this is my third row, so I'm going to do 9 more rounds and then come back and show you how we're going to alternate the colors between white and blue. So I'll do a total of 12 rounds and then come back. So here right now I've just done about 12 rounds, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So I'm about to begin the 13th round. So I just want to give this bag a little bit of color, so I'm going to put 2 lines of white, and then I'm going to put 2 lines of blue, and then 2 lines again of white, and then I'm going to continue with blue again. So it's the same pattern, but just that I'm changing color for this one. Okay, so I'm just going to do 2 lines of white, and then I'm going to do 2 lines of blue, and then 2 lines of white again, and then continue with blue. Okay, so since we have done 12 rounds, we're going to do 8 more rounds that will be alternating white and blue. That's 2 rounds of white, 2 rounds of blue, up until we reach 22. So I'm going to do that and then come back. Welcome back. So now I've finished crocheting the 22 rounds. Okay, and this is the alternation that I did between white and blue. Okay, so now we want to put the handles. Don't worry about this, we'll fasten them off later on. Okay, so now what I've done is, this is my starting point. Okay, so just locate one corner that is more likely to be a corner, this one, and then put a stitch marker. Then from there, starting from the next stitch here, count 21 stitches. Okay, 21 stitch. This is the 21 stitch, and then put a stitch marker in the following stitch. Okay, then again count 21 stitches from the next stitch again, and then up until you have 21, and then put another stitch marker in the following. So what we have here is, you're supposed to have 21 stitches here, as well as here, as well as here, as well as here. Okay, so now next you're going to decide which size do you want to put your handles. Okay, so have a shorter handle and a longer handle. So I'm deciding to put my handles on this side as well as this side. This one is going to be curving inwards as well as this one. Okay, so on this side I'm going to count 7 stitches. That's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, and then I'm going to put a stitch marker in there. Okay, and then from this side again I'm going to count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then put another stitch marker there. Okay, like that. So I'm going to repeat this with this other side. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I put a stitch marker, and then again 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Put another stitch marker there. Okay, so now let's start crocheting. So I'm going to change this one and put black. Okay, just going to cut this one, sorry, and put blue not black, blue. Okay, I'm just going to remove my stitch marker. This marks the starting point, sorry. Then okay, then put back my stitch marker there. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to continue with single crochet right round past this stitch marker here, and then up until I'm here, and then I'll show you what to do. Okay, I'm going to do single crochet, single crochet, so we're almost at the end, and what's left is just the handles. Okay, so I'm now at the first corner here, and we no longer need the stitch marker here at the corner, so I'm just going to remove it and then continue crocheting. Okay, so this is the first corner, I remove it. Okay, then continue with single crochet, okay, so we're now at the stitch marker that is marking our handle. Okay, so the side we're going to put the shorter handle, so we're going to put it like this. So I'm going to skip these stitches, and then I'm going to chain 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. Okay, so I'm just going to chain 7 and then join in the stitch after the stitch marker. Okay, so I'm going to join the 7 after the stitch marker here. Okay, sorry, and continue with single crochet. Okay, so this is our shorter handle. So this ones I no longer need them. We now have our handle. Okay, like that. So from here I continue with single crochet up until I'm at this other side for the other handle. I remove the stitch marker. Okay, so I'm just going to continue right round until I'm here, okay, for the next handle. Okay, so now I'm at the stitch markers which are marking our handle. So now we want to make the longer handle. So that means we chain more, we have a chain with more stitches than this one. Okay, so I'm going to begin with 20. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and okay, this is 20, but it's a bit short, so I'm going to add 20 more and then come back. Okay, so I now have a chain of 40, and this is how it looks like. So if you want a longer handle, you can increase the number of chains. If you want a shorter one, you can still reduce it. Okay, but not to be exact as this one. Okay, so I'm going to join after the stitch marker. Okay, in the following stitch after the stitch marker I join and continue with single crochet. Okay, we no longer need the stitch markers, so I'm just going to remove them. Okay, so now we're left with this one. This was marking another corner, so we're going to remove it so that we're left with this one. This marks the starting point, okay, of our rounds. So I'm just going to continue with single crochet into each and every stitch. Okay, and again repeat single crochet into each and every stitch again, even on the handles. Okay, so I'm going to continue with single crochet, and then let's meet here at the beginning of our handle. Okay, so this is the second line of single crochet. Okay, so I'm almost at the handle, the shorter one that we did. So I'm just going to show you. We're just going to keep on doing single crochet even on the handle, okay, so that it becomes firmer. So this is my handle, so I'm just going to continue with single crochet like that into the following single crochet, and this is my handle. Okay, it becomes a bit thick, so just continue with single crochet just like I did here. You continue right round and single crochet into the handle again, and then back at the starting point and repeat again one other round, and then let's meet them. Okay, so this is my last round, so I just wanted to show you how I'm crocheting the handle. So this is the chain, and this is my first round of single crochet, and this is the next round of single crochet. So I'm just keeping on crocheting just like we were doing with the rest of the bag. Okay, so just inserting your hook on the handle and then doing single crochet. Okay, so it should come out like this. Okay, so we have two rounds of single crochet on our handles. Okay, just like this one. So I'm just going to complete, and let's meet here. Okay, so now I've reached the end of my last round, so I'm just going to remove the stitch marker, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch. Okay, I'm just going to remove this and fasten it off. So I'm just going to fasten this off as well as the other ones inside. Okay, so this is our final bag. Okay, and this is the handle. I'm just going to swing it so you can see. Okay, so the sides here, you can stick them outside. Let me just do that. So when you stick them outside, the bag will look like this, and it's still nice. Okay, and this is the bottom. This is the inside. It's more like a medium-sized bag, so if you want a smaller one, you can just reduce the base. If you want a larger one, you just increase the base. Okay, so thank you for watching Miriam's Crafts. Please do subscribe, like, and comment for more videos. Thank you.